Hello everybody, Average Gamer here, and today we're going to talk about types of players you come across. So this is kind of like my video on the role of your mech. This is just the types of players that you come across in the world of Mechwarrior Online. I broke it down to 6 different types: the casual, the metagamer, the competitive gamer, the elitist, the tryhard, and everyone's favorite, the troll. So, what do all these things do? What are all these people? What do they do, right? Everyone can pretty much fit into one of these categories. The reason why I'm doing this is just because I've noticed I've been playing a lot lately since I took my little hiatus, and I noticed that everyone kind of goes into different groups. Now, this isn't to be like to boil people down, be like, oh well you're this, or well you're that. Everyone can be moved around into different things. Multiple times I've trolled people. I've also been the casual, dirty casual. Now and then myself playing like an hour here, an hour there. So what I'm going to say is, these are just the general groups of people you come across. All of their positives and their negatives, obviously. It's just, just generics. Something that we can all have a nice laugh at. So firstly is the casual. They play the game casually, obviously, in both hours and type of play, like their method of play. So the amount of hours they put into the game per week, a couple hours, 3 to 4 hours a week, maybe an hour a day, so 5 hours a week, but not that much, right? Not as much as some other groups. They're usually the ones in group queue. They're normally the ones not in a unit, or even part of a faction. They're usually the one getting yelled at when they're doing things that the majority of other people don't want them to do. They're usually the ones that are AFK often, where the match drops, everyone starts running, and they're just sitting there. They're connected. They just wandered off. They're the ones that are also usually finding the map because they're wandering around the map as well. When they finally get in, they're usually the cause of players, being like, "What the fuck are you doing? Get that, go here, go there." They're usually the ones that are getting told what to do. And to be honest with you, just like when I started, they have the same, who gives a shit attitude. It's just a game. They're just there for fun. Kill an hour or two, and that's it. Not like the next one. The next group is probably one of the largest groups when it comes to hours spent. The casual, as I said, usually spends maybe 5 hours a week. The metagamer, in my eyes, spends at least 3 hours a day. So maybe 30 hours a week, 40 hours a week playing the game. And what a metagamer is basically someone who sits there, not going to be confused with the meta mechs, or meta in this case does not mean the best. It's the overall. This person looks at the overall view of the game. Specifically, they number crunch, specs, weapons, damage, DPS, damage per second, armor, armor values, the amount of slots on a mech, upgrades, tonnage. Like, these people break the mech down to sheer numbers and look at everything. Now, it doesn't mean they're the best players in the world, or have the best mechs in the world. They just break things down into numbers and letters. They're usually, as I said, can be found, playing the game often, but also a lot of times in the training grounds, refining their mech, tweaking it, finding what the best they can use for their style, for the way they play with their robots. These are the people that also, in my eyes, probably spend the most money in the game. They spend a lot of money on mech packages, things like that. Not specifically for collection purposes, but because they see a mech that they can utilize to, these people that spreadsheet shit. I'm kind of guilty for this. They can also usually be found playing a couple mechs specifically. Like if, they'll actually have a mech they play as a light, as a medium, as a heavy, as an assault. Like, they have their mechs that they prefer. But these people are not, as I said, the best. They're not. That's not in this case what meta means. Meta is people that they look at the game not just as the stompy robots, but they look at the game as efficiency, as how can I build out my mech so I can optimize it to me. Not the game. These are, like I said, these aren't the people that usually end up with meta mechs. These are people that usually end up with those mechs that aren't quite meta, but they enjoy them anyways. Which brings me to the next group. This is the group that usually uses the meta mechs. And that unit is, or group that is, the competitive gamer. So they're the ones that just play Mechwarrior online. They're normally the better players in a match. They're normally the ones that also keep to themselves as well. So like people like, do a little chat or whatever, but this person won't respond. They'll just ignore it. I don't know if there's an option to turn it off or not, but that's usually what they're doing. These are the ones that people that have that one mech that they constantly run because it is the best. They want to be the best. They play this game for the purpose of being the best. And 9 times out of 10, to be honest with you, they are. But that also we spun off into the elitist, the next group. The elitist is basically the competitive gamer, but a dick. They're the ones that they want to be the best in everything and have the best of everything. They're also the ones that like to have all the achievements, or at least working towards all of them, which isn't that bad. But they're also the type of person that will tell you that they're better than you, and then tell you why they're better than you, or even try to show you why they're better than you. And they're also the type of person that, after they die, instead of just keeping quiet and watching, they'll start giving tips to you. Like, hey, you should put the following on this. Or, hey, you should go to this position. Or, hey, go over here. Hey, go over there. They're the ones that'll, tell you what to do after they're dead. Which brings me to the next group, the tryhard. Or as I like to call, the dick. This is the person that thinks they're the best, but is not. I wouldn't say I'm the best player. I'm pretty shitty, or at least average. But this person thinks they are the best. And they're not. They're worse than Al. No, just kidding. Al is pretty good, actually. I'd say at times he's been better than me. These are the people that also blame people for shortcomings. Like if a match we got rolled, they're the ones that'll sit there complaining during the match because if they've died sooner, like earlier than everybody, they'll or even if they're the last one left, they'll bitch and complain in chat. There's the person also that gives tips and commands, and when people don't listen to them, they bitch and complain either through the in-game chat or through VoIP. These are also the people too that they're not part of a unit specifically or a faction, but they will decide to take command, and usually they start off the match by saying things like, don't forget to stick together, or they'll try to give everyone generic advisement, like, hey, I'm the best at this, so I'm going to tell everyone, even though if everyone's in the same unit, I'm going to tell all of you what to do. Us at the 421st, we had a match where 8 of us were in there, and someone was telling us what to do and where to go, and that didn't go so well. And then last but not least, we have the troll. Obviously, this is a person that's funny at times, makes you mad at times, but in the end, they're just playing to have fun. So you can't really, do much about it, other than ignore them if they're being a dick, or goof around with them and joke around with them if they're having, if they're making jokes. So as I said, overall, you got the casual, the meta gamer, the competitive gamer, the elitist, the tryhard, and the troll. In the end, pretty much what I find is the largest group in the game is usually the metagamers, the people that are sitting there crunching numbers, getting the best that they can out of their mechs. Not so much meta mechs, or the pre-builds as they're called, where the mech is basically maxed out beyond realism or understanding. But that's what I think is the main group of players. But I think the actual largest group of players overall, because the metagamers are the ones you're going to come across the most, but the most that are actually playing, or the largest probably in the game itself, is casuals, to be honest with you. Even though they play a couple hours a day, you'll notice them from the fact that they're not part of a unit, not part of a faction. They're usually just there. Well, someone like the tryhard will be at least part of a faction, but that's it. So these are the groups I found that we mostly come across. Now, this isn't supposed to pigeonhole anybody. This is just, me just looking at things and, tell me where leave a comment. Tell me where you feel you fit, or even if I should add to this list. I'm gonna make another list in the future. This is just one of the few videos I'm doing. I'm trying to start coming out with stuff, and this is just something that's stuck in my craw. So, anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and see you guys on the battlefield. Later, guys and girls. Ciao.